Hello enthusiast, we've covered Cedar Point, America's rock and roller coast. On the other hand, we've also covered Kings Island. I forget their slogan. Today we're doing something a little bit different. We're taking a step out of the Cedar Fair world, both figuratively and mentally, and going to a Six Flags park. And no better way to start off the Six Flags journey than starting at Six Flags Magic Mountain, home to 20 different roller coasters. And today, we're going to Six Flags Magic Mountain to ride roller coasters with no restraint. That's right, we're going to Six Flags Magic Mountain to ride roller coasters with no restraint.
Who are you talking to? This guy right here. He totally gets it.
Sorry, Max. Allow me to explain the rules again if you haven't already heard them from another video in the series. And if you haven't watched another video in this series before this, I would recommend it. Imagine this chair here is a seat that you would find on a B&M roller coaster. Here's the seat right here, and here are those side things that you can find as well. Since in this experiment there is no restraint, there's nothing for the rider to hold on to, so we're just seeing if the laws of physics allows us to ride the attraction safely, or if we just fall out. And I'm sure you can tell by now, but it's a new day. But with all the rules out of the way, it's time to begin in 3, 2, 1.
Listen everyone, stay behind cover and avoid any doors or windows. No one goes in and no one goes out.
Alright, the first roller coaster on our list is Apocalypse the Ride, formerly known as Terminator Salvation. And we're going to attempt to see if this is possible. It's probably not. Certainly you can definitely make it past here and up to the lift hill, and once you round this corner, it's practically game over for you. Unfortunately, the drop is a little bit too steep to keep us in our seats, and it's not going to really work out for us too well. Like I said, that drop is just going to take you right out of your seat, and those support beams don't look too friendly. And let's say somehow hypothetically you actually made it through that, you won't, but let's say you did, this pop of airtime right here will definitely give you second thoughts. And here we are again, our iconic makeshift tier list with Alive, Alive That Hurt, and of course, Dead. And here we are, we're putting Apocalypse and of course, sadly, the Dead category. You cannot ride it without a restraint. On to the next one. Here we are, the most iconic roller coaster at any Six Flags park, Batman the Ride. Although Batman the Ride is pretty cool, unfortunately you probably know where this is going. It's going into the Dead category. As usual, you can definitely make it up the lift hill, but that first drop is pretty much a no-no. Although the vertical loop has enough positive forces to keep you into your seat, the 0G roll is as you expected, 0 Gs, causing you to fall out and die. So let's go ahead and put Batman the Ride right in the Dead category. The first of 4 kids coasters on our list, Canyon Blaster, is an E&F Miler. And E&F Miler roller coasters remind me of baby RMCs. But that's not important. But what is important is, are we able to ride the ride without a restraint? Well, it's a baby RMC. This is actually a pretty tough call. Even though it's a kid's coaster, it does still look a little too intense, and honestly, it kind of looks like you could fall out of this thing. Just look at these ending airtime medals. Oh my goodness. I feel a little bad to do this, but I actually think you could fall out of this one, so I'm gonna have to put Canyon Blaster in Alive But Hurt. On to the next one.
The world's tallest looping coaster.
Good news, I'm sure you can make it past the first launch, but the next element is kind of what scares me.
Who settled in, purchased land, and established a mining company that...
The next roller coaster on our list is Gold Rusher, another family roller coaster built by Aerodynamics. We all know and love Aerodynamics for their classic feel of roller coasters, jittery and janky and all full of love. But when it comes to riding their attractions with no restraint, it's a pretty big problem. Like I said, Aerodynamics roller coasters are pretty janky, especially the older ones like Gold Rusher. But with these older mine trains, they're not as fast and intense as the newer ones. But I'm thinking here, if you pay attention to the layout, sit in the middle of the train, and then brace for all the impacts of the rough transitions, you might be able to edge this one out. And honestly, this ride has the old Aero lap bars that basically don't even touch you, so I'm pretty sure you'll be okay on this one. So let's go ahead and welcome Gold Rusher to the first roller coaster in the Alive category.
Strap into the world's hottest rides, like Goliath, the giant among giants.
When Goliath opened in the year 2000, it was the world's tallest roller coaster, with a staggering height of 250-something feet. And when you see this attraction in person, it is just massive. Now, most of the time, tall roller coasters equal you can't ride without a restraint, and in this case, yes. After the first drop and this turnaround, this airtime hill will just completely send you out of your seat. And when we come out of our seat, that means the ride goes into the dead category. We'll go ahead and put Goliath right here. Revolution at Magic Mountain is being a little revolutionary, because I believe it is doable. Sure, it sounds a little crazy, but really if you watch a POV of Revolution, really all it's doing is going up and down, and when it gets to the top of those hills, it slows down enough for it to be good. And when the ride is turning, it's really not much to be worried about. Now the elephant in the room, the vertical loop on the attraction has enough G's to keep you into your seat as it's going through the loop. But I honestly feel like this can be doable. Like, I feel like I could confidently say I could ride Revolution and not fall out. Just pay attention to the layout, brace for the different transitions and stuff, and I think you will be alright. Obviously there will be disagreements on this one, so watch a POV and make a judgment for yourself and tell me down below in the comments. But I'm going to put this into the alive category. I think it's doable. The smallest roller coaster at Magic Mountain, Magic Flyer, is truly a terrorizing coaster. All I can imagine is a headless Percy from Thomas and Friends dragging children along its layout. Thankfully, this ride is doable without a restraint, so we'll go ahead and put it in the alive category. Be proud, Magic Flyer.
Arrow has mastered the martial arts of coaster design with the Ninja at Six Flags Magic Mountain.
I've covered Iron Dragon at Cedar Point, which is the same ride model as Ninja, and that made it into the alive category. I also covered Bat at Kings Island, which didn't make it into the alive category. Now Ninja is kind of a fusion of Bat and Iron Dragon, so like if you were go like... Ninja and Revolution are kind of similar as they have huge sprawling layouts, but lucky for us they're not as intense, allowing us to stay in our seats. But now it's actually time for intermission time, because I actually just made it on to El Toro Ryan's story, which basically means I'm pretty cool now. Sorry for breaking the flow. I'll get back to it in the video now. But as I was saying, Ninja isn't the most wildest ride, which means we're able to stay in our seats. And remember, this is what Ninja's train looks like. You're sitting in this huge fiberglass chassis that allows you to have a lot of space when you're riding. And as I keep watching the POV for Ninja, it looks like it's more and more doable. Remember, the cars swing with the track, and you swinging with the car eliminates some of the lateral forces, making it easier for us to ride the attraction with no restraint. So here we are with Ninja, and honestly, if you brace for the elements like what I say with the other coasters, and just like know what you're getting yourself into, I think you will be okay. I'm gonna put Ninja in alive. I know this is probably not the correct, actually I don't know. I'm putting it in alive. I think if you are prepared, you can ride Ninja just like a real ninja. Next, roller coaster.
What is it that no man wants to have, yet no man wants to lose? A lawsuit. Correct, boy wonder.
The Riddlers Revenge at Magic Mountain is a little bit different of a scenario. Pretty much every roller coaster you sit down on the ride. However, on Riddlers Revenge you stand up. But still, same rules apply, we're not holding on to the restraints. Unfortunately, as soon as we disengage from the lift, you will fall out from the train tilting from the left. Riddle me this. Roadrunner Express is another kiddie coaster located at Magic Mountain, and there's really nothing much to say. Just don't do anything stupid and you will be okay. Meet me.
No se preocupen, Speedy González se los...
Nothing really much to say here. I can just rinse and repeat what I said with Roadrunner Express and be with more certainty that you will not fall out. But just the only difference is that some kids might actually know who Roadrunner is, but no kids can tell me who Speedy Gonzalez is. I actually don't have this credit. Scream at Magic Mountain is kind of like the sit-down version of Riddlers Revenge, and I do quite enjoy the ride. In fact, I enjoy the ride so much that I even bought this pin of the ride. But unfortunately, it really doesn't look like it's gonna make it onto our alive list. Most likely, you'll fall out right here, but if you somehow manage to make it past that, you'll make it past the vertical loop, but as you enter the dive loop, you will fall out, meaning that the ride is simply not possible. Goodbye, Scream.
Up in the sky, look! It's a bird! It's a plane! It's Superman!
Superman Escape from Krypton is an interesting story, as the first 50% of the ride, I would say, is completely doable. At least I think, maybe. Maybe the wind will get you, but at least for the first 7 seconds, all you're doing is launching forward. And then once you crest up this huge vertical spike, you can probably say your goodbyes. But hey, at least you got to go that fast for that long. Not so super anymore. Tatu at Six Flags Magic Mountain is actually a really interesting story because you will not die on it. Probably. Now you might be thinking, how are you not gonna die on Tatu? It's a flying coaster. You're literally facing down towards the ground. Like, you're gonna fall down. As we take a closer look at Tatu, as if you were going to board the ride, the seats had to be lowered just like an invert so you could ride it. Then when the ride is ready to dispatch, the seats will raise up. But during this moment you will fall out, but you only will fall a few feet. basically meaning you're not going to die. Which gives me no choice but to put Tatu into the alive but hurt category. And I've just noticed a critical error. I put Superman Escape from Krypton in alive but it's supposed to be in dead, and same thing with Scream. I am not that smart. When it comes to RMC roller coasters, they're not really in our favor here, and in this case, they're definitely not in our favor here. I mean, all you have to do is look at the first drop and you know you're already done. Sorry about that, Twisted Colossus. When it comes to Viper at Magic Mountain, you can definitely make it up the lift and maybe make it past the first drop. On aerodynamics trains, there is a lot of room, like you can just like keep yourself against the side of the fiberglass train, and I think like you'll be okay like when the train is banking like heavily, so I think you'll be able to make it past that first drop because of the amount of room you have to just like put yourself against the side of the train. But to keep it simple, during this Batwing element, it doesn't look too good for you as you will most definitely fall out of the train, which gives us no choice but to put Viper into the dead category.
High-performance racing on an all-new vertical speedway.
West Coast Racers is basically like Twisted Colossus, but just on a smaller scale, without the wood supports and a racing theme. But just like Twisted Colossus, on the first element of the ride, you're pretty much done for. That high 5 element is not really holding back, so unfortunately that means I have to put it into the dead category. Alright, almost done, almost there. Wonder Woman Flight of Courage at Magic Mountain is a pretty cool ride to experience, but to experience without a restraint is pretty not cool. That 90-degree drop over there is pretty sweet, but it's not really doable without a restraint. So, yeah. Bum, 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 bum.
It had to be you. I went around and formed.
We are high!
X2 at Magic Mountain is an unbelievable yet unforgettable experience. I've been a theme park enthusiast for a long time, and yet when I rode X for the first time, it was the first time in a long time I ever felt scared on a roller coaster. However, this ride is not very possible. When the ride disengages from the lift, the ride will spin you around to make you face down, and you'll fall out. Not very ideal in our situation, but we're just gonna have to make do with it. Meaning that for our final roller coaster of the list, X2 is going to have to sadly go into the dead category. But that is it. We have completed all the roller coasters in Magic Mountain, all 20 of them. Let's just do a quick head count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. There we go. 20 roller coasters in all at Six Flags Magic Mountain from the Alive But Hurt, and of course, dead category. Here they are. From the park that has the most roller coasters in the world, Magic Mountain, with all 20 of them, we finally completed this list. But with that being said, this is basically the end of this video. Thanks for sticking around, and I'll see you on the next one.